When India and Pakistan play cricket with each other, entire nations come to a standstill. Offices become empty, streets become quiet, and hundreds of millions of people get glued onto their screens. It is so crazy that the last time these two teams played a 50-over game in the 2019 Cricket World Cup, around 25 crore people watched the game on TV and another 5 crore people watched it through OTT apps. And it is so crazy that it is almost like half of the entire continent of Europe watching a single cricket match. Basically, whenever India and Pakistan meet each other, there is emotion, there is drama, and there is a lot of anticipation. And therefore, naturally speaking, it is a goldmine for every marketer out there. Brands, media networks, advertisers, and everybody else wait for this moment simply because of the sheer scale and the passionate engagement that this rivalry brings in. And in this video today, that is exactly what we'll discuss. We'll talk about what makes this cricket game such a powerful branding phenomenon. We'll also talk about how companies have created marketing strategies around this game. And we'll also talk about what the record-breaking viewership numbers tell us about the potential of India versus Pakistan as compared to other global sports blockbusters. My name is Bansal, and let's decode. By the way, before I begin, I'm happy to announce that this channel is now a part of Zerodha's media network. Together, Zerodha and I plan to bring you interesting stories and case studies from the world of brands and marketing. People, the India vs Pakistan cricket rivalry started back in 1952. That time, cricket was played in white jerseys and people usually followed it through commentary on radios.
It is 1952. History has destined that India and Pakistan played test cricket against one another.
Marketing in cricket around that time was very minimal. There were a few billboards here and there and maybe a sponsorship logo somewhere in the corner. But things actually began to change in the 1980s. This is the time one-day cricket and colored jerseys became popular. And at the very same time, because of political tensions between India and Pakistan, matches were sometimes played at neutral venues like in Sharjah. And this is where it all sort of started from. Because the matches took place in Sharjah, India and Pakistan games suddenly started to attract massive audiences from South Asian countries. And that in many ways was the world's first glimpse into the intense rivalry of India and Pakistan. But still, marketing and branding was relatively straightforward. There were at best soft drink sponsors, tobacco sponsors, and maybe some patriotic print ads here and there. But it was still not the insane marketing carnival that it would become a few years later. But then came the 1990s. Satellite TV boomed in the Indian subcontinent and cricket's reach suddenly skyrocketed. It was at this time that marketers realized that an India vs Pakistan game was the perfect moment to capture consumer eyeballs. A big milestone moment here was the 1996 Cricket World Cup, which was co-hosted between India, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. One of the most defining moments here in terms of marketing was the Coke versus Pepsi brand war. See, Coca-Cola was the official sponsor of the 1996 Cricket World Cup, but their biggest rival, Pepsi, pulled off one of the smartest marketing campaigns to take over all of the limelight. It was called Nothing Official About It.
Pepsi. Nothing official about it.
Basically, Pepsi realized that since cricket was moving from white to colored jerseys and was also moving from radio to satellite TV, it was suddenly getting a lot of attention from youngsters. And the thing about youngsters is that they love to break rules. So Pepsi used the exact same storyline and showed young cricketers refusing to drink official Coca-Cola and instead choosing to have Pepsi.
Pepsi.
And it's not just that. Because Coke was the official sponsor inside the stadium, Pepsi made sure that they were visible and present everywhere else except for inside the stadium. Basically, they very smartly mocked the official sponsorship of Coca-Cola and they said that you don't really need to be official to be the fans' choice. And let me tell you, this became a huge movement. It was so big that people actually started to reject Coca-Cola and started asking for Pepsi just because they were so influenced by this marketing campaign. And because of the kind of success and the movement that this marketing campaign was able to start, most marketeers realized the true potential of cricket advertising, especially when it involved India and Pakistan. After that, India vs Pakistan became such a big deal that during an India vs Pakistan series in 2004, 10 Sports, which was the TV broadcaster at that time, sold 30-second TV ad spots for as much as $15,000. And not just advertisement rates, mind you, things became so crazy that almost 10 lakh new TVs were sold in India just before that particular series. And I'll remind you, this madness was 20 years back in 2004. In recent times, this particular madness has become much bigger than that.
What have you got, Nawaz? Ashwin goes over, clears the infield. India win a famous win. You look at all the great wins.
During the 2019 Cricket World Cup, TV makers like Sony, Samsung, etc. saw their 55-inch and 4K premium TV sales double as compared to the same time last year. Things became so crazy that the 2022 T20 World Cup match between India and Pakistan had more than 13 crore people watching it. And in 2023, these numbers went even more wild. This was the year when streaming was offered free on mobile phones. So the India vs Pakistan World Cup match crossed a record of around 3 crore online viewers who were watching the game all at the same time. Mind you, I'm not even including TV numbers here or even viewers from Pakistan for that matter. 3 crore online users only on OTT and all of them watching the match at the same time. Think about how crazy that is. And therefore, obviously, when we talk about numbers at such massive scales, brands have to step in. One fantastic example of a brand making the most of this rivalry is Star Sports. They created a series of TV ads during the 2015 World Cup called Mauka. Basically, they showed a Pakistani cricket fan who has waited many years to celebrate his team's victory over India in a World Cup. The idea here was to basically poke fun at Pakistan's losing streak against India in World Cups, but in a bit of a quirky and a good-natured way. Now, the campaign was obviously an instant hit. Viewers were absolutely hooked onto the storyline and everyone eagerly waited for the next version of the advertisement as India was progressing in the tournament. And also, because of the viral nature of the advertisement concept, the Mauka tune became almost like the unofficial anthem for Indian fans whenever there was an India vs Pakistan clash. It became so popular that Star Sports decided to revive the characters and themes in other tournaments which featured India vs Pakistan, effectively turning it into a recurring IP which now reminds all of us that an India vs Pakistan match is coming soon. And the reason why this is super smart is because by simply creating a memorable storyline, Star Sports ensured that their brand almost owned the India-Pakistan conversation during World Cups and other series as well. Also, if you think about it, this was relatively low effort because Star Sports had to create something with the mass and quirky appeal only once. All they had to do after that was continue doing the same thing every single time. Imagine there were no celebrities and there was very little product plugging. It was a simple, fun, relatable and engaging story that kept people talking and therefore also kept Star Sports on the top of people's minds. One more great example here is what food delivery brands like Swiggy, Zomato and Domino's do. They realized an obvious but a very interesting insight. See, the emotional roller coaster of an India-Pakistan match also influences consumer behavior in many ways. And this is because when India and Pakistan play cricket, 1 out of 2 things happen in almost every household. Either people are glued to their screens and therefore they don't want to cook food, or people get together with friends and family and therefore they are lazy and they don't want to cook food. In either of these 2 cases, there is one thing that's common. People do not want to cook food and therefore they are more likely to order food. So food delivery companies like Swiggy and Zomato ensure that they always play quirky and noticeable advertisements so that people get tempted and place orders immediately. And even though the demand for food delivery is naturally much higher than usual during such cricket matches, most food delivery services still run discount schemes because they basically want to be the first ones who we people get tempted to order from. And it's not just offers and discounts, by the way. These food delivery companies also try and jump on every trend in order to make the most of every single chance that they could have at people ordering food from their apps. Remember that super viral movement from the 2019 Cricket World Cup?
कसम वाली बात मैं आपको बताऊं, मुझे पता चला कल रात ये लोग बर्गर खाते रहे हैं, कल रात ये लोग पिज़्ज़ा खाते रहे हैं.
Zomato jumped on it instantly. They showed how savage they could be with their huge billboard which said "Burger Pizza Milega, World Cup nahi." And not just that, they turned their own joke into a contest and they offered free dinners to people who could come up with even funnier lines. And just by doing something as simple as that, they made their customers and fans their free creative team. And all of this makes complete sense because food delivery companies almost double the number of orders that they fulfill during an India-Pakistan game as compared to what they do on a usual day. Also, India-Pakistan games are so big that even Super Bowl, which is considered to be the biggest event for advertisers across the world, has half or even maybe 1/3 of the number of viewers that India-Pakistan gets.
Pakistan versus India, that's bigger than the Super Bowl. More viewers than the Super Bowl in the world.
Really?
Pakistan versus India.
Soccer?
No,
Cricket?
Cricket.
And yes, the value and the willingness to pay of US audiences is much higher than what it is in India. But given the numbers that we have, the potential for us here is absolutely massive as the disposable income of India starts to rise. In terms of only numbers though, there is only one sporting event in the entire world that gets more attention than India versus Pakistan games. That is the El Clasico, which is played between football clubs Barcelona and Real Madrid. According to estimates, this game attracts more than 8.5 crore viewers from around the world. But again, we need to remember that football is just a 90-minute game, but cricket on the other hand lasts much longer. Anyway, coming back to India versus Pakistan, there is one big factor that has made it the spectacle that it has become today. That is the rarity of this game. And to give you a sense of that, between 2010 and 2015, India and Pakistan played just 7 cricket matches. Between 2016 and 2020, they played 7 cricket matches once again. But after COVID, between 2021 and 2025, these two teams have already played 9 cricket matches. And mind you, there is Asia Cup coming up later in 2025, so this number could easily cross 10 to 11 matches or even more maybe. So while India versus Pakistan does remain to be a great rivalry, it has largely been the case because of the rarity of the event. But if broadcasters and organizers now start to make it more frequent, the big question will be whether the rivalry will be able to retain that crazy fan base every single time or not. Because like I said, the entire essence of an India versus Pakistan rivalry is when offices and streets across the country become empty and people gather and watch the game together. The essence is also in social media being absolutely packed with India-Pakistan discussions and memes. So if that stops happening or even reduces slightly, it could really change how marketers and all of us look at India versus Pakistan cricket matches. For now though, this definitely remains the greatest sports spectacle in the entire world. That's all from my side in this video. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned something new from it today. If you find value from any of my videos, please do hit the like button and do subscribe to my channel because I promise you there is a lot more that is coming here. Take care, I'll see you in the next video and goodbye.